Hey there guys, Spazzy Dragon here, aka Syndromes, and welcome back to Avorion. So, let me very quickly get this out of the way. So, if you are watching this video just as it's released, I'm still running that vote thing regarding what to do with our current Let's Play, the co-op one with Mutmut and Airdot. Right now, at the time recording this, we are still kind of split, because while the majority of people, like 40-something%, want to see the thing continued, it is still, technically speaking, less than half of the total voter count. I'm sitting at 41 votes. I know there's about 60 of you who are currently watching, like actively watching this thing every single day, every single time it gets released, so if the last few of you would quickly cost you votes, that would be very good, because the channel is tiny. It's much easier for me to just kind of ask you guys to tell me what you want to see. So, yeah, that's the thing. Anyway, on to the video. So, one of the things, and one of the best things, that I found about Avorion 2.0 is the multitude of quality of life changes when it comes to the user interface. There's just no denying that. When you pair that up with the fact that now you don't really need captains to control the ships in the same sector as you are in, it leads me to just go for the obvious question: can you play Avorion as an RTS now? Because the RTS, the tactical map has also been upgraded, and it offers a lot more interesting ways how to play the game. And obviously, the answer to this question is a very simple yes, with an asterisk attached. And today, this video is going to be less of a brand new Let's Play. I really don't think it's going to be more than a couple or 3 or 4 episodes long, but it's more like in-depth analysis and feedback on how to make this a little bit better, and how it currently behaves, how fun it is, and, you know, for what kind of person this is. So, before we start, we're going to go into the mods section over here. You'll notice that we are currently running completely vanilla. There's a lot of mods that I currently have. Most of them are from very old playthroughs and testing purposes. Many of these, you'll notice that it's before 2.0. But, spoiler alert, a lot of these things we're also going to be enabling as we go through the actual playthrough, simply because even now, without playing it, I know there are going to be some hurdles that we have to take care of, and hopefully mods are going to help. Again, the whole point of this video is mostly, you know, for the sake of fun, and also to satisfy that you guys want to see me do something else for a bit. And also, I mean, if the devs care to watch things like this, if they have the chance, then maybe it might actually be as a constructive criticism and suggestion box at the same time. Anyway, we are going to go play a single-player game. We're going to play a new one. We're going to go for normal. And we are going to go for veteran because that is, quote, the way that the game was meant to be played, right? So, let's go for next. The galaxy name is going to be RTS Avorion. The seed is, yeah, let's just call it RTS. Collision damage is going to be full, and everything else is going to be fine. Now, the one thing that you probably already know is that there's physically no way to instantaneously just start playing the game from the, RTS perspective, so to speak. So obviously this is not a challenge or anything, otherwise we would have instantaneously failed right here now, because we still need to actually make the ship in the first place. And that actually does bring me back to a certain suggestion that I had. Considering these options are being actively implemented anyway, perhaps it would actually be a good idea to allow me to control my drone as I would a ship, because there's probably no reason not to give it an autopilot. It's a drone, but I'm fairly certain that I'm not inside the drone if it's just a drone, right? Anyway, welcome to Avorion. Let's take a very quick look around. The sector itself is pretty standard in every single way. There's our claimable asteroid. Somewhere next to it, there's probably also a stash that we can grab, but in order to do so, we need to actually build our first ship. Now, for those of you who are a, frequent visitor to my channel and they have watched a lot of my playthroughs, I'm not really going to surprise you in any way, shape, or form. The first thing we're going to do, we are going to make our dedicated mining ship and just instantaneously do that. Now, considering we are starting on Veteran, there are absolutely no, we have 0 of anything, and we only have 10,000 credits, so before we even do that, we do have to kind of break the rules of this playthrough a little bit, and actually go and mine manually for a moment. So let me very quickly grab this one asteroid, and then we can start. Okay, ladies and gents, we are up to 1.8 thousand iron. I decided to grab a couple of more, because the moment I'm going to place down my first ship, I physically cannot enter a drone anymore. And that is where this playthrough actually begins. So, as already said, for those of you who have watched my playthroughs a lot, you probably already know how I'm going to usually go around this, and it starts off by creating 2 ships. Not 1, but 2. So first ship is, and yes, I know for a fact that I will need to exit into a drone to make the second one, don't worry, I know that. We're going to call the first one, I don't know. The apathetic tendencies, sure, let's go with that. And really, this ship, the only thing it's going to do is do mining. So honestly, I'm just going to turn it into a single block engine, and the only thing we're going to do with this is provide 2 sloped armor edges at the front. That is where we're going to place our words are terrifying. That's where we're going to place our mining turrets. Something like this, right? And so one goes here, the other one goes there. There we go. We're also going to make sure that we have our auto-assign on. We'll still need to actually buy, recruit people. So we are going to just very quickly make sure that this thing is more or less usable as an actual ship. And honestly, the only thing we need to do is make sure that this thing can just stop. And that really is the extent of it. Doesn't really have to be anything than that. So yes, something like this. And now, yeah, I cannot use the WASD keys anymore, so I'm going to go into the actual mode, and let's see what kind of crew we have do we actually have a captain that is not specific in any way, because we don't really need to have a professional captain just yet. And, well, it looks like the only one that we currently have is a Commodore, and that's not something we want. So I'm going to actually tell this dude to just dock with the station so we can actually get some crew on it, while at the same time, in the meantime, we're going to create the second ship. So that is going to be the shooter, because that is going to be our dedicated combat ship. So we already did one of the milestones. Oh no, you actually created 2 ships, you mad lad. Now, the one thing about creating ships for the use of AI is the fact that it's a completely different sort of thing than what you usually do if you make a ship that you're going to fly yourself. Simply because I personally tend to place all of my turrets on one side, usually on the top of the ship, because when you're flying a ship, it's kind of the way that you look at the world around you, and since you're flying and aiming at the same time, that is usually where all the turrets are going to go. But with AIs, it's a little bit different. AIs actually suffer from not being able to instantaneously react to ships kind of going outside their field of view, so having guns that kind of just face in opposite directions and just cover most of the ship's blind spots is something that you usually tend to prefer doing to this sort of thing. And so, with that in mind, we're not really going to be able to over-design the ship just yet. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just kind of going to make a double thruster sort of thing like this. We are still within our energy generation regions, and, well, I mean, this is as uninspired as you can get in terms of ship design. So, yeah, let's make it just a little bit more interesting, I guess. Something like this. So, right now, obviously we are suffering from the fact that, oh no, there's absolutely no roll, which is only understandable. So, actually, I might as well just give it a little bit of a gyroscopic help from this sort of thing, just like this. There we go. We're going to add some engines to that, something like this, and basically I don't want to hit that 250 generated energy limit just yet, because we will need to get some titanium, get some, what's-his-face, some integrity fields on this thing, so it's actually usable as a ship for combat. But until then, this is probably going to be the best we can do. And, yeah, something like this. Now then, again, we cannot do anything with this thing anymore. We need to actually just tell it to dock. And the thing about docking these ships is they are kind of slow about it. You'll notice that every single docking point have these lines, like, you know, the runway lights coming through them. And these ships have a tendency to literally fly out to the very, very end of that pathway, and then kind of hopefully it is going to do the do. So with this ship over here, all we have to do is make sure that it has at least all of the miners, so we can actually start mining. But until we have a captain for it, which, by the way, we can't afford yet. We only have, like, we had 10,000 something money. Obviously, we spent quite a bit of that just by creating these two ships. And so, one of the things I'm going to immediately do is I'm going to grab this titanium, so we are mailed the titanium building knowledge. And after the fact, we'll actually have to go and claim one of the asteroids. Now, I'm probably going to do that with my combat ship, because it's currently doing nothing other than that. And before I do that, I do need to make sure that all the guns work, and it actually has all the crew necessary. So, with that in mind, we are docked over here. We are going to hire crew, and right now we have 2 out of 4 crew, so if we buy 2 more, you need... What? Oh, I almost tried to buy... see, this placement of this button is somewhat unfortunate. Yep. So, what about the second one? So, I'm actually going to just straight up tell this dude to, okay, go on, mine that titanium. In the meantime, we are going to switch to this one, like this. We don't actually need to exit the, you know, this thing just yet. Yes, I know. So, let's hire the crew. This thing can only take up to 4, and we should actually... You know, we need to actually fix that real quick. So, we are going to go into build mode again, and we're just going to very quickly just place down a crew quarters for this thing. It's not that I really need it right now, but I will need it later. So I would rather have it now and not worry about it, you know, quote, later. So that is not really going to have a big impact on our energy production, so that is perfectly fine. And actually, we might as well just give it a little bit more. Yeah, just for the fun of it, like this. Actually, we are really running out of iron, so this will have to do for now. So let's actually buy all of the crew that we can fit on this thing now, so that's going to be 6 crew members. Like this, there we go. We are slowly running out of money. That's okay. That is, in fact, our titanium building knowledge, so let's not press delete. That would be very very unfortunate. I mean, I'm pretty sure the game has a built-in kind of save mode where it's not going to let you do that, but yeah, let's not. So our shippy over here has successfully mined it out. Let's actually tell him to go and mine a little bit of more iron. So right now, we're just really gonna start off on our adventure in the just the simplest way possible. And one thing that we have to do, like literally right now, is to make sure that we do have enough money to actually hire a captain. And the captain is going to instantaneously just go onto the mining ship first and foremost. The other ship really does not need anything else just yet. The other ship is going to be used primarily for scouting purposes. We're going to find more claimable asteroids, and one of the things we'll have to do in just a moment is we are going to be jumping into the next system and making sure that we meet the adventurer. They give us a scanner, and that we are going to have enough energy capability to actually mount it while, you know, still retaining some sort of etc, etc. Now then, one of the first things that I realize is going to be a bit of a pain is not being able to just easily look around. Now, if the whole point is to... pathetic and... okay, that's our miney ships. Keep on trucking, keep on doing the good work, dude. So, considering we could exit the RTS mode to look around and seek for claimable asteroids and, you know, the canisters, the stashes, the loot stashes. I don't want to do it because that would kind of go against what I want to do with this playthrough. So, honestly, the easiest way would just to be find these kind of sections of rock and just very carefully, very slowly just go through them and kind of hope that you can see these containers from a distance. Claimable asteroids, especially in the brightly lit, non-foggy places like this sector, are going to be very easy to come across. Like, I do not think that that's ever going to be a problem. But at the same time, yeah, that is definitely the case. Oh, there we go. So that is in fact a thing. Where is our apathetic tendencies? The shooter, there we go. We're actually gonna tell it to go for this thing first. Now, this, technically speaking, counts as a wreck, so I'm not exactly sure what the shooter is going to do. Is it just going to fly? Oh, it's going to escort it. You see the tooltip changes? It's actually saying that it's mine asteroid, escort. Oh, so apparently it's going to escort it. Okay, I guess that is acceptable. So my question is, do we still have other titanium asteroids here? Yes, we do. Quite far, actually. That's perfectly fine, I guess. So, the one thing that I instantaneously can tell you that I would really wish to have is a few more tooltips over here. So we currently have the overview for, you know, ships and stuff, goods, crew members, and bulletin boards, but I would really like to have a little bit more detail here. I would really like to see the distance, for example, between me and whatever it is that I'm currently doing, because right now, if I select any sort of thing, it actually is going to take the ship that I am currently actively in, so in this case, the shooter. And yeah, so the question is, can I interact with this thing? No, I can't, because I am not close enough. And as you can see, I physically cannot actually get closer. So I'm going to select the secret stash, I'm going to press enter, sorry, not enter, but the space key, space bar. And you'll notice that we are technically kind of close, but not, so I'll have to actually tell the ship to physically get closer, and only then I can interact with this thing. So let's open it, and there we go. Now, the problem here is the same way that I had to manually kind of guide it into the range of claiming this thing for the stash, I'm afraid that that's the case with this thing as well, because it's just too large. So I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to actually just tell the shooter to get over here and just, you know, try to enter the range of this claimable asteroid. As you can see, it's also going to give it as an escort. And this makes sense, because an escorting ship is a moving object, so I would say the AI is programmed to retain some distance between it and it. And I would never want to suggest that, oh, you need to modify that in any sense. But yeah. In the meantime, the apathetic tendencies are slowly getting their way over there. They're gonna grab that asteroid. There's also one more over here, fairly large-sized one. And yeah, so in terms of practical usability, there is one thing that I really don't like, and that's the fact that you guys have given us the way to kind of change the plane is by pressing shift. So in these, see, it stopped, by the way, for a very, like, it's actually for a very decent range, by the way. So the problem with shift is that I have been conditioned, as many people, that pressing shift, even within Avorion, like if you go into the galaxy movement map, pressing and holding shift while issuing orders would actually mean to queue them up. So I'm kind of wondering, why isn't it that I cannot queue up orders by pressing shift in the tactical mode? Like, even if the captain is on the ship, like, it's not the fact that, oh, the ship does not have a captain, it only has a very rudimentary autopilot, but no, I cannot even do it with a captain, so the ships are kind of dumb. If pirates attack, then if you specifically tell the ship to attack all enemies, they're going to be kind of random about it, but if I have, like, very specific ships that I want to be taken out first, so for example, you have a situation where you might have a cannon ship, for example. You know, we're talking about later game stages, it's not really that big of a problem right now, but if you have a priority target, you can issue them, but after the fact, you just need to start kind of manually doing it. And I mean, it's not like it's instantaneous. You should be able to queue up your order of engagement, if that makes any sense. And yeah, that's my first little gripe about it. Now then, we can already see that this thing is just way too big, so we'll have to actually tell the shippy to get a little bit closer manually, and hopefully not a bump into it. That would be kind of bad. But after the fact, we can actually put a little bit more effort into the shooter. We also most definitely will need to go towards the equipment station and actually grab a few things for the mining ships as well, because, again, having them just mine these regular asteroids is a good thing, but honestly, the most of the resource richness of a sector, any given sector, is inside these rocks where they have the hidden asteroids. So I actually can claim it from this sort of place. That's really good. And lo and behold, we only have one faction within range, but thankfully it is going to buy it from us for a fairly decent amount of money. So now we can actually go back to the equipment dealer and tell the shooter to dock with it. Now then, as for the apathetic tendencies, it is going to be stuck doing this manually for just a little bit longer, simply because, oh yeah, by the way, tooltips like 101, I probably know already that yes, I did claim this secret stash, but it would be really nice if you would actually label it as a opened secret stash when you have actually opened it, so there's no, you know, problem with that. Also, as far as I know, the object detector does not work there, like it gives absolutely no indication from the strategic view. So that's something that you probably want to do something about, because, I mean, if there's a ship in this system that has a object detector and it goes within range of something that I obviously missed, I should have a immediate visual kind of confirmation. It's like, oh, we found something. And even better, give it a sound warning. It's like beep beep or something, like something to indicate that it's happening. So right now, there's just no physical way we can do this. Anyway, we are going to have the shooter go back to that thing, and this thing is going to do that thing, and I'm going to take a sip of my tea while it does that. And there we go, we're docked. Alright, so let's take a very quick glance at what we currently have over here in terms of guns. That's perfectly fine. You then have the subsystems. I would really like a very cheap mining system. Like, I really don't need a Neonite level subsystem, guys. But, well, that really is what it is. Anyway, so I'm going to grab two things over here. I'm going to grab the two generators over here, because these ships are currently at a level where... no. Just no. And obviously we are going to grab that mining system, because currently that is the only one here. Now, as for the things, I was going to say, oh, I should totally sell the salvage laser, but then I see that it's selling for only 4,000, so that's really not something that we need to worry about ourselves right now. And if anything, I want to very quickly make sure that I can actually just give this thing the thing that we wanted to give it, which is just a like this. Like, it does not have to be big. Actually, we might as well just place it somewhere here. Actually, no, that's the last place where I want to place it. Okay, so by doing this, we're basically telling ourselves we're going to expand the ship backwards, so to speak. But, yeah. Right now, it's terribly, terribly undetailed. Like, there is nothing to detail right now anyway, so I don't really care that much about it. That being said, though, I do want to unlock the next one, so let us very quickly see what kind of stuff can we add to this thing, so that it's actually, you know, kind of counts towards it. I suppose we could just very quickly just, kind of like this. It's not even close. Okay, there we go. We are up to 2. That is beautiful, because that means that now I can enter this thing again, trade equipment, subsystems, and let's get ourselves a armed turrets upgrade over here, right here, right now, just like this, installed permanently. And we should be fine. No, we are we are the exact opposite of fine. Okay, that's fine. I know I literally just said that we are not fine, but believe me, we are, because we do have this thing. Anyway, the skill step is going to be, yeah, this is actually fine. So let's take a look. Can I just give us a bit of energy without overdoing it? Question mark. Kind of like this, maybe? Yep, there we go. And then we are just going to very swiftly just cover it on armor. Yeah, something like this. That's gonna be perfectly fine for now. Anyway, yeah, that is our current gun design. So this means that we are currently up to 2 more guns. So we can have 2 more guns. Let's go and actually do that. Let's just buy the simplest like, the simplest guns. Nullifying chain guns, which is good against, oh, take a look at this. Long-range dual shooters, so that is a bolter-type gun, and it's 64. I don't want to use it simply because we do need the money for the captain first, so let's do that. Dual nullifying chain gun, it will have to be that. There we go, yeah, 17. That'll be perfectly fine, I think, I hope. Let's hope for the best. Interaction, no, not with this thing, interaction with this thing. And we are going to place the next two guns on the top and the bottom of the ship instead. So right now the ship is covered from every single place possible. And just like that, we are ready. Now then, as already said, one of the things we'll have to do is meet the traveler, or the whatever, and so that he can actually give us a item, you know, the scanner thing. And we will have to upgrade the ship up to 3 slots, but let's actually worry about getting it first, and then we can do the rest. Now, as for our mining ship, you probably already noticed that we're not actively mining anything because, well, it's still manual designation. So let's take a look-see here just for a moment. So in terms of the actual loadout, okay, I'm still technically speaking inside of this ship. So let's enter the ship. Let's go into build mode. And let's very, very quickly just fix what we currently have here. The only, quote, fix that I need for it is just adding a, just a small generator. That's literally all I need for this thing. So apart from that, we are going to just plain old install this thing. We're not going to permanently install it. It's perfectly fine. And right now, we don't actually need to make it up to 2 slots just to get this thing in, because right now it only has 2 turrets. In terms of practical use, I do like to have my starting mining ships to have 3 slots, so I can fit a civilian turret control system, a generator upgrade if necessary, and of course, a mining subsystem. But that really is the current extent of things. Also, you'll notice that we did leave, or rather, this ship did leave a bit of asteroid behind it, and that's simply because as you have the ship mining the asteroid, chunks of it break off, and for some reason, the game treats it as a completely new entity. Oh, for example, this dude right here. We just had it, you'll notice that I'm getting the indicators for hidden items. So that's kind of neat. So as for this dude, we are about to go to the next system. So again, the reason why I want to immediately go to the next sector is simply because, one, I want to meet the Traveler, or the Explorer, whatever it was, its name was. And secondly, I want to see if I can find a system which has just regular, non-specialized captains. Because we need a cheap captain, cheap to recruit, and cheap to maintain right now. And, yeah. Let's see. So, notice one thing. Okay, there we go. So, when I have the ship selected, since I'm not actively sitting inside of it, I don't actually see the hidden resources. So, that is kind of annoying. I would really like to, like, if I'm looking at a tactical map, the map that is supposed to give me the most information, things like this, like, if the present ships in the sector have these abilities, I should be able to see them and make use of them. Like, not having that the case is kind of silly. and we're off on a adventure. There we go. The adventurer. So you'll notice that the ship that I'm currently flying, it went through the gate as I'm sitting inside of it, and it was executing a command. And there is a very odd thing that if you have a ship like that, it is going to fly towards the, quote, center of the system once it goes through. So this is the gate that we went in through, and it's just currently burning itself towards this place over here. And I do not know why it does that, but it is somewhat annoying. So this one is 24, this one is 13. Let's dock here. So all we want to do here is grab ourselves a captain. That's all we want. And while I'm here, I'm also going to ask this guy. Oh, apparently I can't. I can ask this guy, though. And that is their home system. Yep, there we go. That's strange. So when you click the link, which opens up the map, it kind of thinks that you're still holding down the button. Or not. Oh, yeah, there it was. You saw it just now, right? So once we grab this captain, we are just going to instantaneously fly back. Because our mining ship is about to be done with that one little asteroid that we designated it to do. And we're going to give it this captain and just set it completely free. One more thing that I would really, really like to have, especially for mining ships that are physically operating inside of a sector instead of doing the prolonged thing that they have added, is to be able to tell them to prioritize one material over the other. It's somewhat important in many cases because you don't want to be random, and also you kind of sometimes are, for example, in later stages you have fighters that you want to build, but they are created out of things that you don't really mine actively anymore. So having a ship go somewhere and specifically mining that one thing would be really good. Anyway, and just like that, we're going to hire our dude. And also, I want to make sure that the ship is not overcrowded right now. But it does not look like the case. Yeah, that's not the case. Okay, so we are just... Okay, the shooter, can you just be... Oh, that's okay, so... like this and like this. I think that's gonna be faster than just flying all the way back. I hope. And there we go. Obviously opening up in any sort of things right now would be kind of... See, that's kind of strange that it does that. Like, as long as I am sitting inside the ship, it's not even doing the next jump, simply because it is immediately told to fly towards the, quote, center of the system. That's really strange, because right now, I don't actually see that there's an active execution of my commands. So I actually have to press on the destination again, so it kind of wakes up. Yeah, see? It wasn't even executing the next jump command. So that's a bit of a glitch. I don't think that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, anyway. Moving on. And again, it's going towards the center of the system, but that's not what I want to do right now. I actually want... Apathetic Tendencies is currently standing still on the account of it doing all of the things. So my question is, can we actually make a... Can we perform a crew exchange just from this view? Probably. One way to find out. Hopefully not ramming myself. Okay, you know what? Let's actually approach it from a slightly bigger distance. Yeah, just in case. Just in case. So, more interaction in general. So right now, if I press and hold the spacebar, it is going to lock onto my ship until I, you know, it just constantly refreshes it, right? I have a suggestion that it does that if you double-click on the ship. Because right now, like, you have to keep clicking. So, this is how it would be if it was programmed, right? So you double-click on the ship, it sticks to it until you do any sort of map input. So, for example, I'm using the mouse. I'm currently, obviously, just for the sake of this thing, I'm currently holding down the spacebar. But if I try to move around with the mouse, it would just unlock from the ship and just let me move around as usual. And then, after I double-click on it again, then it would just snap onto it again. Like, that would be a behavior from an RTS view that would make sense. So that's one of those feedbacks. It would be also very nice if the current orders would actually remain in space, so I can actually... So for example, I have two ships that want to meet up. I would actually like to see where the other one is actively going. It would also, like, the destination would also need this thing to show me how, you know, how far it is, etc. But, yeah, that would be a very neat thing. Anyway, let's try to do that exchange. Let's see how easy it is. Obviously, I am currently inside the shooter. Interact, transfer crew, Jord, and boom. There we go. So, now I should just... Oh, sorry. F orders mine sector. Yep. And there it goes. Alright. That is perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. And with two ships currently active, this is where we're going to start the first episode. If you want to see the continuation of this, leave a like, leave a comment. The co-op is going to still continue. I simply see that, you know, if the vote is currently split, then I might as well just do both and just kind of stagger the upload schedule. Anyway, thanks for watching, boys and girls. This is Spazzy Dragon here, aka Syndromes, and see you in the next one.